Hello, this is Rose Diamond from Tribe in Transition. And this is the third in a series of videos I'm making about psychospiritual transition and cultural transition, particularly as these are catalyzed by collective events such as the coronavirus pandemic and lockdown. And so I was talking yesterday about the first stage of the transition, which is the disruption followed by resistance or fear. And this will happen, this happens also when somebody you love dies. The first stage is an inability to accept that this has happened, an inability to accept that this is a reality for many people. I'm not saying this is for everybody. A resistance, a clamping up, a contraction, a desire to control. And what comes next is a releasing of that contraction, a releasing of that control, which I don't know about you, but I usually call surrender. Surrender. And surrender doesn't mean giving up our power. It's not submission. It's a letting go, a letting be, a relaxing into the reality of what is happening right now. Stopping fighting the reality that is happening now. So I've often found in my life when I'm in a transition, when I'm coming up to this critical stage of the transition, that I hold on, my ego, my mind holds on like mad, and of course then that comes into the body as well. And that's where you often get those kind of suicidal feelings as well, because it feels like you're in a clamp. You're holding on like mad, you're contracting like mad, you're trying to control like mad. You're frightened, but at the same time you need to let go, and it can feel the fear of moving on, the fear of surrendering to something bigger than you, something bigger than the mind, something bigger than the ego, can feel life-threatening. I'm really curious if anybody is recognizing what I'm saying here, because it's very common. This is a common aspect of the inner life, the inner journey, the soul journey that we all go through. And the more we learn to name these stages, to recognize them, to talk about them, to share our experience of them, the less frightening they become when we're in them, the more skilled we become about moving through them. So surrender can happen in several ways, but it can happen when we get to reach a point where we just can't hold on anymore, and we just let go. Whew. Relax, let go, breathe. Or it can happen when I call it bottoming out, when we've reached that bottom place, we've reached the depths of our despair in a way. We can't go any lower, and suddenly, we let go. Or it can happen by choice. So, I was saying yesterday how when we've been in spiritual practice for many years, one of the advantages we have when we're in these kind of really difficult, challenging, frightening situations is that we can exercise more choice. We have the power to exercise that choice. And so we have the power to exercise the choice of surrender, of letting go, of letting be. And along with that surrender, the letting go of the control, comes a deeper alignment with soul, a deeper connection with all that is, because we're letting go of that separate self sense, that sense that we as an individual, as an egoic mind, can control life. No, we cannot. And I think that's one of the things that coronavirus has been showing us. We are not in control. Nature is in control. Life is in control. We are not. And one of the opportunities we have right now as conscious evolutionary beings is to align ourselves with life, to choose life, to stop fighting life, to come into our own sense of organismic self-regulation, our own natural unfolding with life, in cooperation with life. And if you see, as I do, the coronavirus as being an awakening force as well as a death-bringing force, then I think one of the messages from the coronavirus is, wake up, humans. You need to get your act together. You need to get yourself into alignment with life. Stop fighting life. Stop destroying life. Stop thinking that you can dominate life. You are life. We are life. I am life. So surrender, letting go into, letting go of the contraction, letting go of the holding on, and making more space in the body, making more space in the being, making more space in the mind for something new, something more expansive, a bigger perspective, a bigger reality, a bigger experience of what it means to be human, what it means to be soul, what it means to be life. So I'd love to hear your experiences of surrender, your experiences coming out of that very contracted, frightened, stuck place into a more relaxed, expansive, allowing, letting be with life. Thank you for listening.